Greetings, dear friends. Dragon here once again. Thank you for joining me for something very, very special today. Now, this was the last interview that I was able to record at the old house before we moved, and is with the incomparable, the incredible Kenji Tanigaki, longtime collaborator and friend of Donnie Yen, an actor, performer, and stunt choreographer in his own right. And so we chatted about loads of the projects that he's worked on. Really, very selfishly, me focusing on the stuff that I hold most dear. So we went right the way back, spoke about his work on Fist of Legend. And then on SPL, the incomparable, amazing Rurouni Kenshin movies, and then on to his more recent work on kind of Dragon Wuxia and on Sakra with Donnie Yen as well. It's an incredible interview, runs for quite a long time. I hope you will sit down, get comfortable, and enjoy all hour and 40 minutes of it. I'm incredibly grateful to Kenji for giving up so much of his time, sharing so many stories, and just being so incredibly nice, humble, down to earth, and fascinating to speak to us. Yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I enjoyed chatting to him. We'll see you soon. Hello, Kenji.
And hello.
Welcome to my very, very small, very humble little YouTube channel.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's my honor to have you here, and I need to say a huge thank you first of all to our mutual friend, to Big Mike.
Mike Leader, Big Mike Leader.
Yes.
Yeah, we have known each other over, I think, 27 years.
That was going to be my first question. How did you guys meet?
At that time, Big Mike lived with his friend in Kowloon City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kowloon City, and I lived in Jordan. And sometimes we talk together, went to see watch the movie in theater, and sometimes we train each other, train together in Kowloon City Park.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Mike's a good
memory. Yes.
He's been a big help to me since I write for the same magazine that Mike wrote for 20 years ago, for Eastern Heroes, and so anytime that I've been going a long time, and it used to be a video label and also a magazine, and I think it's not gone continuously for 20, 30 years. It stopped periodically, but it's back going again. So anytime that I hit a wall that I don't know what to do, I message Mike, and he's very kind.
Wow.
And helps
me. You know everything actually about the Hong Kong movie.
Yeah, but your knowledge is incredible too, and I think I'm come a little bit from a filmmaking background myself, mostly still photography now, but I went to film school, so quite a few of the questions that I have for you might be a little bit more on the, hopefully not too dry for other people watching, but I'm very selfishly going to ask you a little bit about some of the techniques that you've been using. But let's go.
If I can answer.
We'll go way back first to kind of very early on, because I know that you started training yourself first before you went to Karate's action school, and
yes,
you had a grounding in Kempo, did you, in Shunji Kempo?
Shunji Kempo, yeah, in my high school.
Yeah, okay. So by the time that you'd started at Karate's school, you were already pretty proficient from okay. And how long were you with at Karate's action school for? Quite a few years.
What does it mean?
How long did you study at Karate's action school?
Almost 4 years. Almost 4 years. And at that time, Karate Action School was in Tokyo. One in Tokyo, and the other in Osaka. And I'm from Osaka, so I trained in Osaka school.
And did Karate-san himself go back and forth between the two schools?
Actually, Master Karate almost 1 month once came to Osaka for teaching us. So, because if every day he was there, and maybe we are different, but once in a month. So at that day, wow, we trained. Which we wanna appeal a lot of things to him.
Because I think he was so instrumental in bringing back so many of the techniques from Hong Kong into Japan, and really reshaped how Japanese kind of action was going. It's very interesting.
And why? Yes, and why I chose that school, because of him, because he has a lot of experience in Hong Kong movie. And
Yeah.
from my childhood, I was also a big Hong Kong movie fans, yeah, fanboy, right? So
Mm.
like you, right?
Yes.
So yeah, in our childhood, we had two major action school. One is Japan Action School, Japan Action Club, by
Which is Sunny
Chiba,
Sunny Chibio.
and the other is Karate Action School. But somehow I love the style of Karate Yasaki, because his style is more, uh, close to Hong Kong movie action,
Yeah.
like that distance voice, or like, that impact voice. So um, very naturally, uh, I love to watch his action, and I chose that school. So that the yeah that the right decision. and
Yeah.
and if I wanna learn some kind of Hong Kong action in Japan at that time, that's the only one place to learn these kind of things. And then 4 years have passed, and I was 22 years old, and I think almost my usually my my university almost
Mhm.
graduated, and then I must choose my, the way of my life. And then, maybe I must go to Hong Kong to try my, stuntman life. And then after 4 years training, I went to Hong Kong by myself.
Difficult because I mean my Cantonese is, I think your Cantonese is better than mine, but Cantonese is not an easy language to grasp. And did you know any language? Did you know any Cantonese before you went?
No, no,
Okay.
no, just Japanese. But
Okay.
yeah, if if I told people, oh, I just go to Hong Kong by myself and with no friends, with no language knowledge, but um, of course, okay, if football player, many football player, Japanese football player, other football player wanna go to Europe
Hmm.
or Italy, because Europe is a main place of the football.
Hmm.
If baseball player, many people wanna go to America for the major league. I think it's the same. If a
Yeah.
professional stuntman, like not car stunt, like like us, and body action. Okay, many people wanna go to Hong Kong. It's a very natural thing. So I think uh, yeah, Cantonese is very special language, not the Mandarin, not the English, because not very formal system of the language. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just go. I thought, yeah, I just go there, and just on the job training. And actually, Cantonese is very difficult for the pronouns.
Yes.
Pronunciation wise, is very difficult,
Yeah.
but Cantonese spoken in Hong Kong is a little bit easier,
Is it
because in
that
Hong
weird mix
Kong
of
we
some English words mixed into?
yes, that's true, because if I don't know how to say in Cantonese, I just say, oh, that's okay ah, 是不是啊？is it sure? Is it sure? Or wow, 你咁樣做一啲都唔 make sense 㗎啦，即係 like make sense or not make sense. Right? I
Mhm.
can add some English phrase, so a little bit easier than Mandarin or other language.
Yeah.
And even now, I yeah, a lot of mixture. I made a mixture of other language with Cantonese.
Because more recently, I'm assuming you've been working with Mandarin crews, because most of the more recent productions all been in the mainland. But
Yes. So yeah, I really don't know whether they can understand my Mandarin, but I don't care. I just try to Mandarin. Yeah, yeah, just try. Yeah.
because you arrived at a really interesting time for Hong Kong cinema, in a way. I think it was so strange before Hong Kong was handed back to China again. There was a very different feel to the 90s films. And I grew up loving kind of Jackie Chan and particularly in Shaw Brothers movies, which were hard to get in Scotland at that point. But we were grabbed onto the ones that we could get when they came around. But it had a very different feel. And I think one of the first big projects that I wanted to speak to you about was Fist of Legend, which must have been the Jet Li film. Must have been
Yes.
quite early on for you when you got to Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's in 1994. So
Yeah.
1 year and a half after I moved to Hong Kong.
Yeah. And incredible, still one of my favorite Jet Li movies, but so different to the other times that we saw that character. So very different, physically very different version than we saw Bruce Lee doing in Fist of Fury and Donnie Yen
Yeah,
doing in the TV series
yeah.
Fist of Fury. And I'd heard him. You were there on set, so you'll maybe be able to answer for me. But I'd heard that Gordon Chan had kind of tried to push Yuen Wu Ping towards certain elements from Japanese cinema. So he was very inspired by Redbeard, the Kurosawa film. So a lot of
Hmm.
the locks, and not so much the grapple with the finger in the mouth, but a lot of the kind of arm blocks and arm twists and holds and locks I'd heard had come from Mifune, from Redbeard.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I didn't join the process of the making choreography at
Yeah, you were
that
there
film.
as a
But I
stuntman. Yeah,
think Gordon Chang and Yuen, their collaboration was very good. Of course, by Jet Li's performance, amazing performance.
yeah,
So I think Bruce Lee, Fist of Fury, Jet Li, Fist of Fury, Donnie Yen, Fist of Fury, and even Jackie Chan's Fist of Fury is
yeah,
uh, yeah, each that's each goodness, I think.
yeah. I think so. And
Yeah.
you got a chance because you went back to that world again later. Though I'm jumping ahead a bit. We'll jump back 'cause with Legend of the Fist. Right, you were able to kind of then bring
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
a little bit more up to date, and the kind of
Yes.
choreography and that very different again. But no, I
Yeah.
still think Fist the Legend holds up incredibly well. For some of the '90s films can feel too speed ramped, too sped up a little bit. I think kind of Iron Monkey suffers a wee bit from that. A tiny bit when you watch back, and but I think Fist of Legend walks that right line, though there is still some weird
Mm-mm-mm.
speed ramping,
Yeah,
and
that the classic. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
and Karata-san again, Karata-san there fighting against Jet Li in that film.
Yes, because I think everybody knows he can fight, but in that movie, Gordon Chang adds some his humor flavor, humor.
Yeah,
Because oh wait, okay.
yeah, yeah,
It's that a little bit offbeat things is very suitable for himself because he's also the people who knows humor. Yeah. So I think he's one of his best performance, I think.
I would agree. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that, and I'm a huge fan of Heroes of the East that he made with Lau Kar-long. I think Shaolin Challenges Ninja it sometimes gets
Oh
called,
yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah.
he's incredible in that. But much more serious role in that film.
Yeah.
But it's been an interesting kind of watching the different times when Hong Kong cinema has embraced Japanese talent, and I think that was one of the first times that I can remember a big group of Japanese martial artists being brought over to work on a Hong Kong production for Heroes of the
You
East.
you're talking about the Heroes of East?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I think
yeah,
so. Yeah,
yeah,
and that that choreography on that film is very classic and very have impact and strong. And I think one of the strong point of the Hong Kong action choreographer is they can yeah, each choreographer they knows how to use uh, an actor's talent.
yeah,
Because uh, he's club fist. Club fist. Of course, in
mm,
Japan, there there are no this kind of martial arts,
yeah,
but that looks like karate's knife punchi. And then Laugario watched his style of karate, and then Karate-san, can you change like this? Because he he knows he picks up that flavor and then changed by his own way. So I think it's a very strong point of the Hong Kong choreographer because not start from zero. If you know something, or if you know basketball or volleyball or other kung fu, okay, they will uh, they know how to use that flavor to be changed to be the other other you know very other martial arts is that's a very eye-catching moment. So that's uh, uh, the most the one of the biggest difference with other choreographers from other countries, I think.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think Lau Garlong and then Sammo Hung and yourself have also kind of embraced the idea of not
I hope so.
necessarily completely, and I think you kind of you work with a technique that's going to make the actor or the performer look their best rather than trying to force them into something that they're maybe not that familiar with or that comfortable with. So not starting from a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah,
It,
actually, my way of working and my way of thinking is the most of the things. The way of thinking is coming from Donnie Yen because yeah, I have worked with him for long years, and then uh, he was amazing actor, and then he knows how to make actor to be changed to the martial arts actor or the actor who can fight. So I yeah I learned so much, and almost I learned everything coming from him, coming from his knowledge. So
yeah, I've
yeah,
often heard
that's
you describing him as second master. You know, your Karate-san first master, and then Donnie Yen second master,
yeah, yeah,
and maybe even more of a filmmaking master because his experience now over decades really, and always
yeah,
changing, always evolving. It
and
seems like he never seems to like to repeat. So
yeah,
he's kind of constantly changing and refining his technique as the years have
yes,
gone on, which has been
because
kind of really interesting to watch.
yeah, sometimes he can move like Ipman, and he move like a Usha, and he move like Flashpoint.
Yeah,
That's and every time he can anyway he can change by his way, and then I think this kind of changes is uh no other actual actor can do this kind of things. So yeah, so I'm very lucky. Even now, 2 days ago, I had a meeting with him in Hong Kong for next movie. We have 2 days meeting, but I still learned so much from him. Yeah, of course, I say idea, he say idea, and sometimes I listen his idea. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. That's good. So I still learning. Yeah,
good. Because I was curious. That you mentioned Flashpoint, and I know that he's returning to that world again quite soon. He
yeah,
announced at
that's good.
Cannes another Flashpoint movie, and I hope that you will be on board for that too. I'll keep my fingers crossed. I know you can't say, but I will keep my fingers crossed because Flashpoint was one of the things that's jumping us on a tiny little bit, but we can go. I think um, SPL and Flashpoint often get spoken
Yeah,
about
it's
very
a
much.
good process of
Yeah,
changing because this kind of jujutsu or ground technique is
yeah,
ours. We start to uh, consider to use this kind of technique already 1997 or 8. uh, once we knew the okay BBJ Brazilian BJJ Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wow, that's very good, but we don't know how to deliver to the screen. So sometimes I remember 1999 in Germany when we shot the TV series Puma, we
yeah.
tried some kind of just arm lock, arm bar, or other technique, but it's very hard to express because punch is punch and kick is kick, but that lock is uh, we need to express for the because the audience knowledge is not that good at that time, not educated these kind of things,
Mm.
so it's very hard to express. So at that time gave up. Okay, maybe next movie or
Mm.
next century. And twins effect. Do you know that the twins effect?
Hmm.
Maybe in Europe that called vampire effect.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I think we got it as the twins effect as well.
Twins effect.
We got
That's
the Hong
good.
Kong title. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Charlene Choi.
Charlene
Um,
Choi and Gillian
yeah,
Chong.
yeah,
Yeah, and Gillian. Well, of course, the ending is girls fight, and
yeah,
one shot. Gillian uses some ground technique, just one shot,
mm,
but it looks very special. And we thought, oh, that may be the way uh, for the next, you know, next generation, generation of the action genre. Yeah, and
yeah,
then SPL coming, but
yeah.
SPL, our
Felt a
knowledge,
bit more pro wrestling almost style,
yeah,
where
it's
the
a
much bigger, so that the camera can catch it better.
yeah, like Brainbuster or like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
like WWE more than UFC.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that's suitable for the audience level because so very easy to eye catching.
Yeah.
Yeah, so SPL
And
is a very they love SPL. Okay, okay, and next movie is a Flashpoint. Uh,
yeah,
when we shot the Flashpoint, it's like amateur wrestling. Amateur wrestling. It's not the WWE professional wrestling. Amateur wrestling. So we use a lot of shoot in or tackle and
mhm.
yeah, these kind of things. So I think yeah, we had a lot of process to express these kind of things, and
And
now we
a lot of
watch a lot of action
time.
movies.
And
Yeah,
just before we go on, so much time on Flashpoint because that Colin Chow and Donnie fight at the end,
yeah.
so long. 2 months, am I right? 2 months for
I
that last
think
sequence.
in that location,
Yeah,
from that drama and gunfight and end fight, it took 2 months. Two
yeah,
months.
because that's a luxury that I'm sure is very rare. I think,
Yeah,
particularly now, to have that time, but almost like a little school for you guys in yourself to be able to actually work out, to have an environment to work out the nuts and bolts of it. And I see the effects of maybe more Flashpoint than SPL moving forward. It seems to have infused even not necessarily the same technique, but how the camera's positioned and how the camera will move with the action seems
yeah,
to have really had a huge influence. I still see
yeah.
bits and pieces of that in quite a lot of your work, even if
Thank
it's
you.
not
Thank you.
necessary, and it works really really well. I think. I mean, we'll get to Rurouni Kenshin later, but I think that's one of the biggest, maybe Rurouni Kenshin like 10% Flashpoint energy, right? That they're maybe a
Actually,
little bit more.
yeah, actually, our start point for the Rurouni Kenshin is yeah because just after finishing Flashpoint, and then uh, we got the Rurouni Kenshin. So
Mm,
our way of thinking is I wanna use the I wanna do the sword fight with this distance, like
mm.
Flashpoint. So yeah, I think very big influence from the
I saw
Flashpoint.
you. I'm maybe completely off base, but between those two, like maybe just after Flashpoint, a couple of years before Rurouni Kenshin, you did Kamai Gaiden. Now, my Japanese pronunciation's so
Oh
bad,
yeah,
so
yeah, oh, yeah.
you'll have to keep me
I
up.
forgot that. I forgot that. Yeah, Kamen Gaiden. That's uh, the result is not good, but uh,
I
a
think
lot
maybe
of
just
trial. We
yeah,
did a lot of trial and error, and then actually I we did a lot of tests, and some of the test is very good, but
yeah,
the pity is they
bit too much
they
CG. I
didn't,
think.
they didn't like it. They didn't
Oh,
like it, and uh, and I don't know how to express these kind of things. And then Rurouni Kenshin is coming, and I just reuse I reuse that resource.
yeah.
Sometimes in Kamen Gaiden, we already maybe if you have the chance to see our test our test video, already in Kami Gaiden, already we tried the drift.
I really wanted to ask you about that because
Yeah,
some of
we yeah already we tried, and
mm,
then Legend of the Fist, we tried a little bit, and
mhm.
then in Rurouni Kenshin we almost completed with that technique.
Yeah,
So
it
I
works so
think
well. And on
yeah.
wires, I was sort of curious if some of it was on. It's hard to see, but it looks like sometimes wires, but sometimes raised angled set, so that it's camera slightly tilted, so that the person. Am I completely wrong?
That's I don't want to tell you the truth, but actually that's a wire,
Not wire or with wire. Ah,
wire.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm so happy because you don't know, you
You
cannot
can't tell.
judge whether if the wire or not.
No,
I'm very happy.
can't
Uh,
tell.
ac- Actually, this kind of movement is. Um, mm, do you know the animation? One cartoon, Lupin the Third, The
Yeah.
Castle of Cagliostro.
Yes.
That's the first,
Miyazaki.
yeah, the first movie by Miyazaki.
Yeah.
And in the opening sequence, the car chase,
Hmm.
and this car is coming this direction, and other car is for the shortcut. Shung, go to the go to the mountain, and then
Yeah.
go there. So this shot, this shot, I had a lot of impression. Wow, if these kind of things happen on the human, how how is this? And I start to think, but actually, this kind of things is uh, always happened in the like baseball. Baseball is the first, running to the first and go to the second. Maybe
Yeah.
these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a speed skate, speed skate. That a track.
Hmm.
They turn the track. They're like these kind of things. Maybe uh, even not 45 degrees, but still have the 75 degrees. This kind of things. So. This kind of physical expression is easy to let audience believable.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
That's
seems
why
that
I
it carries so much weight to it because one of the things that can sometimes happen with wire work when it's not performed well is people can feel too weightless. And I
mm.
know that sometimes they lean into that for wuxia movies where you want people to be like they have no weight, like they're literally almost floating.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in harder action, I always feel that that kind of breaks the suspension of disbelief if someone looks like they're floating down to the ground. And
Yeah,
in Kenshin, it always all the wire work in those movies really carries so much weight to it. It
yeah.
always feels like
Because
it.
because of course I'm coming from the Donnie's team, so
Yeah.
actually I'm not a big wire fans, but for the genre, for that genre, because Ron Kenshin is coming from the comic book,
Hmm.
so more or less I need some exaggerated moment. So that's why I need some of the wire. But I, of course, I hate the wires being floating. So I really need down to the earth. Actually, when we did the rehearsal, that's not good because very floaty because of the shoes. You know, in Jidaigeki, in Japanese costume play, they are
Hmm.
tabi socks is
Yeah, with
not
the
so
split
good for
toe.
the action.
Yeah.
Yes, and very traditional tabi has a problem. So we went to the DIY store
Hmm.
uh, for the
Like a
mm,
hardware store.
yeah, like hardware store, and I noticed now there are like air tabi, like Nike Air tabi
Yeah.
is have the air cushion with the tabi is a tabi shoes with air
Hmm.
cushion, and
Hmm.
some has a spike tabi. You know, spike is
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
baseball
Yeah.
player. So tabi with a spike. So
Ah.
yeah, when they saw that, that's good for this kind of action because spike and the ground is very touchable. So in the daytime we went to the DIY store to to buy the spike tabi, and then at the nighttime I told our leading actor Sato Takeru-san, and you try this, and then we did it. So that sometimes is some little uh, tiny element make this looks good. And the wire is wire is of course we attach this kind of wire, right? But
Mhm.
and a crane, just one wire is very easy to this object go this side because wire like this one, and then this guy cannot keep this height, right?
Mm.
So actually, many people, many henchmen is knocking down on the ground. So one with the henchman holding the wire, you know,
Okay.
okay, that's a crane, and
Yeah.
then one wire with the actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we need one more wire on the ground line. But we have no place to uh,
To hide
keep
it.
that wire. So
Yeah.
I told the stunt boys, okay, you keep this wire. So he pretend to die, but at the same time he grabbed the wire to
So
so
it's keeping them one
oh,
level playing.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's
if
genius.
you rewatch that shot, maybe you can see oh that the guy with the wire.
That's very smart because I mean, so
Yeah,
much innovation on that movie. I know that you've spoken a couple of times about having to really find a type of sword you could use
rubber
to actually
sword.
contact. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Because previously it would have all been wooden swords, and they could never really connect. So I
yeah,
think, but from what we've just spoken about, the idea of from Flashpoint of bringing the action much closer and
yeah. As
allowing
I
to
told you
actually
before, I
allowing
need
actual
the
contact.
distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when we prepare the Rurouni Kenshin, we talk to the director. Actually, this director is very funny and it's very supportive.
Mm,
Otomo-san, he's very great director to work
yeah,
with us. And we watch Japanese sword play or Japanese costume play. Some some movies very yes was great, but some movie I we we thought is fake.
yeah,
What kind of fake is chung, chung, like don't right?
yeah.
But your opponent is here, but their way the place their attacking place is like bang bang like this. Yeah, so
Mm,
that's fake. In Hong Kong movie, it calls beating air, not a beating opponent. So
yeah,
that's very bad. So we need a really okay. Hitting place must be very clean. Head is head, neck is neck, uh, arm is arm. Yeah.
yeah,
So this kind of thing is very looks like very easy things, but every time we emphasize the actor, really, your hitting place is here, yeah, because for example, I have the mouse and I have the water. Nobody,
mm,
nobody, nobody drink like this because I have the mouse and the water like this, right?
mm.
So it's very yeah, me and directors so very strange when we watch that kind of movie. So Ron Kenshin is maybe a lot of innovation, like as you said,
Yeah,
but
and actual
it,
contact because I
yeah,
think contact with the sword because you can tell absolutely that certain people are getting hit in the head or in the body, and I know that some of it is so linked to the character because most of the time when we've seen Japanese swords, they're always cutting. It's a cutting
yeah, there's a
tool,
slicing,
but
right?
this is the sword is backwards, so it's
Hitting,
more like
yeah,
it's like a club.
Yes.
So it's much more like a traditional, almost like a short staff more than a
Yeah.
sword. So
And
he's striking rather than slashing.
yeah, and that's why, because his reverse sword is not sliceable,
Yeah,
hittable.
yeah,
So maybe one slice and the opponent is uh, died immediately. But hit, so we need so hit several times,
yeah,
and they will knock down. So it makes it looks very, a lot of hitting, and looks like very fast. But why it looks fast, and why have a lot such a lot of hitting? And because of their sword, hit not sliceable,
yeah.
because of his reverse sword. So it's very easy to express the real hitting
Yeah.
feeling.
It
Yeah,
works so well, but I think it's still able to, because you have that as this kind of central core of when he is Kenshin. I mean, slightly different when he's Batasai, and the moments we see that's maybe slightly more traditional, and in terms of
mm,
it, that's a little bit closer. I was going to ask you if, because I know that you'd spoken. We'll jump back later on, and I might ask you a bit about Dragon Wuxia, but you'd mentioned when you were making that movie that you'd watched a huge amount of old Lau Kar Lung movies. I was curious going into Kenshin if you had drawn anything from any of the older samurai and the older kind of swordplay movies you thought worked, because I wondered if, for me, before Kenshin, the best adaptation of a manga was still Lone Wolf and Cub. That series of movies, the kind of goes back quite a bit further, but the Tomisabaru Wakayama films, the old,
yes,
yeah, yeah, and I think they had a brutality to them that you didn't
yeah,
often see in kind of some of the older, more traditional kind of Kurosawa style energy. And
yeah.
I kind of wondered if that fed into it a little bit in one of the things that worked.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we love. Of course, we love the Kurosawa film, some of the
Mm.
Kurosawa film, but in Rurouni Kenshin, we watch a lot of Katsushintaro, Zatoichi,
Yeah, yeah,
Zatoichi
yeah.
film, and of course,
Mm.
Wakayama, his his
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
older
the
brother
brothers,
film.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because they are very special brothers. And
Yeah.
then Shintaro Katsu, I think in that era, he's not a traditional one. He's not very traditional. In that era, like us, oh, they're he's not traditional. Maybe different way. But now we watch his power and speed, and then um, I uh, I read his books, and his so-called speed. Speed is sometimes we just speed is okay. Uh, how many hit in 1 second? This kind of speed. Uh, that's the physical speed, right?
Mm.
That's called physical speed. But Zatoichi's speed is, of course, he's fast. But on the other hand, he emphasized the feeling of the speed of the feelings. For example, okay, three guys, okay, one, two, three, and four, right, like this, and three guys, okay, just we have slowly, one, two, three, four, right, okay, we shoot it. When they shoot, as soon as he coming, usually opponent is yeah, and then one, two, three, four, right?
Mm.
But every time Katsushintaro is yeah, eat of the ear, just eat, and he already
Yeah.
So sometimes yeah, pam, 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 pam is very normal, but too normal. So
Yeah.
he doesn't need. Uh, for example, that the feeling is like you want to say something, but I already cover what you say. That looks like very fast, right? You say something, I say something. No. You as soon as you want to say something, I say something. This kind of
Yeah.
things.
It shuts
So
down
this,
completely. Yeah.
yeah, same kind of feeling is happened on his choreography. So he said, "Oh, actually, I'm fast, but the most important thing is opponent. They just breathing, and I do this,
Yeah.
and these three guys knows whole choreography, right? So these three guys said, "Wow, why he moved so early?" But if they stopped, it's yelling, yeah, yelled by him, right? So they said, "Wow, to yeah, his time is too early, but I must do the reaction." And then when they when they knocked out on the ground, he already his
Put the
sword,
knife, yeah, back in the holder.
and then
Yes.
they knocked out. It
Yeah.
looks like very fast. So I
Yeah.
think I read that book. Oh yes, that's true. So sometimes I told that actor. Sometimes I told, hey, you need to earlier than them. But same choreography. But the timing is uh, for purpose. Timing is going to off.
Yeah.
It's a little bit off. But sometimes off timing is very good. Looks real. So this kind of things I learned from his movie.
And speaking of speed, because almost no speeding up of footage at all that I can see across any of the Kenshin movies. Maybe 22 frames rather than 24, maybe in places,
Um,
but very little going the other way.
it's
You
very
don't
rare.
really, yeah.
Sometimes not the whole things. Some of the some of the moment I did a little speed up because uh, Rurouni Kenshin is shot by digital film, not a film,
Yeah,
digital.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so I can uh, make the part of that shot a little bit faster, but it's very rare. Uh,
And did Kenji
I
did mostly one camera setups for the movie?
No, we use a three camera, but
Ah, okay.
just one main direction for the camera, and B camera and C camera is just for the bonus, just a
Ah, okay.
bonus.
Or
Yeah,
like montage
and
shots, so yeah, a little bit closer.
yeah, and speed up is very rare. But I did. Do you know the shutter angle?
I
Shutter
was gonna
angle.
I was gonna ask you about this. I'm very glad you brought
Yeah.
it up. Yeah.
Normally we use the 90 degree for the normal shot. I did sorry. Normally 180
Hmm.
or 172.8, right?
Hmm.
For the normal shot, I made the most of the time I made a 90 degree for the action scene.
So
Yeah,
you get a little bit more motion blur.
motion blur, and then Saving Private Ryan. I believe
Yeah.
that the 45 degree to
Yeah.
60 degrees is like it's very
Yeah.
not the
Becomes
seamless
almost like
like that.
staccato burst because I think
Yeah, yeah,
that was
yeah.
that was around about Saving Private Ryan's around about the time when I was at film school, and we looked at it a lot for how it had for not fire explosion but for particle explosion. So for small
Yeah,
pieces flying through the air, much more definition on them at 45 degrees. But
that's right. So yeah,
but
so
I was curious, and I think
yeah,
digital
so
cameras you can because on for maybe for people who don't know what we're talking about, but on a traditional film celluloid camera, there was a little gate closing every
yes,
single
yes,
time, and
yeah,
changing the angle means you're letting in just a little bit more
yeah.
light each time, so it can
So
never overexposes, but
yeah,
it
so we
affects
use
the
the
image a bit.
same formula.
Yeah,
Why I chose that 90 degrees? Because our we cannot use real sword because everybody will die. So
yes,
I must use of course we use a props,
yeah,
but there it looks real. But anyway, it's not real. It's not real sword. So if we use the shutter angle, if 19 degrees, it looks like make this sword is
sharper.
more yeah, short and looks real
Yeah,
and very make the make the black color more blackened. It's very black, and
yeah,
then it's very um, every movement is very I think clean.
mhm,
So not many movie. For example, when I shot the Enter the Fat Dragon, I did 180 degrees for the almost all the shot. But Rurouni Kenshin is coming from comic book and adaptation, so I need some style. So I try to the on the camera test. I asked the cameraman, hey, can we try the 90 degrees? And then after the camera test, director said, oh, that's good. That's very looks special and uh, looks clean and fast
Mm.
without the speed up. So I think, and the most important thing is the sword looks real.
Yeah, you could. I
Yeah,
never until I'd heard you speak about the fact they were rubber. I didn't catch that at all in terms of they look completely like they're metal. They carry weight. They feel solid. You never see them bend. It's not like watching Tai Chi swords where
yeah.
they have a movement to them. And one of
Wow,
the things,
you are a good audience.
yeah, I think I'm back a gaijin, so I just I didn't catch it all. But I think it seems to have been on. I know that it sometimes can be different for each project for how tight knit a group you get between the crew. But on the Kenshin movies, it does seem to have been a very tight knit connection between yourself, between the director of photography, who am I right in saying Takuro
Ishizaka,
Ishizaki,
Takuro-san, yeah,
and the director. So because they
yeah,
would come to rehearsals as well, wouldn't they?
yeah, yeah,
They would,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And of course, action team because uh, the many of the action team is works with Donnie Yen before, and so everybody knows what he's sick. Everybody knows his philosophy, and then
Mm.
everybody knows it's very automatically. Everybody knows what I want to do because same same almost same philosophy. So it's very easy to share
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
It worked, and I think if you'd managed to do this on one movie, it would be it would be a mountain climbed. Doing this over 5 movies and keeping all 5 fresh, so some same techniques but different depending on who Kenshin's going up against. I think
Yeah.
as a series of films, it's hard to think of any other
Yeah.
series that's
Yeah,
managed to
because
keep their
the
consistency that
same
high.
technique because same character must the same technique, but
Yeah.
cannot looks like bowling. So
Yeah.
I yeah
I
yeah
can't think of any other series
I
really in recent memory that's managed to keep. I mean,
um,
arguably maybe John Wick out of America, and
John
they've
Wick is very smart. You're very amazing TV,
a great
amazing
film.
series. Yeah, I
But
think
it's very hard to keep consistency and keep quality that high. And I
yeah
think there's a there's an evolution to the Kenshin movies that maybe I think is better in some ways to me than some of what John Wick's done. I love the John Wick movies, obviously behind me there, but I
yeah
still think kind of as a series as a whole, I think kind of Kenshin does a
yeah
better job of giving him
because
ever escalating challenges.
Yeah, because me and Chad, we are very good friend. And
Mm,
then when he come to Japan for promote the John Wick 2, he called me, and then we eat together and we share a lot because we have a mutual a lot of mutual friends of the stunt world like Imo Peng or his team or and of course Donnie and now more close, right? Because Donnie is joining John Wick
yeah,
and our Japanese some of the Japanese action team went to help him. So it's very
because
close.
they
Small
filmed
world.
a big chunk of John Wick 4 was filmed in Osaka, wasn't it?
Uh,
Did they film
uh,
Osaka?
Location is I think Berlin and Paris.
Ah, okay.
Pretend pretend,
Even the Japanese bits.
pretend to be Osaka.
Okay, I'm fooled again,
Also, you
Kenshin.
are you are good, very good audience.
I just believe what I see. I don't question. If I'm enjoying it,
Oh,
then I
okay.
don't
Forget
break it
about
down.
this. That's Osaka. That's Osaka.
They held up really well. I think absolutely love those movies, and it was a treat seeing Donnie Yen join the cast. I think it's been the first time that an American film has known what to do with him. Really, I
Yeah,
think
and
it
then
is.
he was lucky too because director
Yeah,
Chad
yeah,
Stahelski because he knows, yeah, he understands what he needs. and he understand what Donnie will, bring new things for to that movie. So yeah, their mutual collaboration is very successful. I think it's a
Yeah.
wonderful collaboration.
And you and Chad in a really quite small club of stuntmen who've become directors. Really, I think there's not that many of you. I think that Hal Needham as well was maybe
Of,
kind of going
of
back
course,
some time, but
I cannot say Chad is very big, and I still learn from him and learn
hmm,
from other guys. Yeah,
but
he's good. He's
we'll
great.
get to we'll get to because you've directed a couple of times and most recently on Into the Fat Dragon, and I know that you're very humble and you're going to dismiss this, but I love Into the Fat Dragon. I think
Thank you.
it's a,
Thank
a
you.
wonderful evolution of seeing not just what you do with the action, but also how you handle the actors and the dramatic scenes in that as well. And I
I
think
try my best. I just say I
you
try
did
my
so
best.
well. You got one of my all-time favorite Wong Jing performances out of Wong Jing
Oh,
because
yeah,
sometimes,
because Enter the Fat Dragon, my theme by myself is I just wanna shoot like 80s Hong Kong action comedy 80s because action comedy, this genre was very strong in Hong Kong movie industry in
mm,
80s or 90s, like Aces Go Places or My Lucky Stars, this kind of
mhm,
uh, very great action and some uh, corny, some corny comedy, right?
mhm.
So
I would say yeah,
that
cheeky, almost a little bit toilet humor, a little bit cheeky. Yes,
yeah, tricky. So
yeah,
that combination is very strong genre of the Hong Kong comedy, Hong Kong movie. But now almost nothing. So
no, not
I
so
just
much.
wanna remake this kind of feeling.
I loved it. I think there's been a couple of films that have scratched that itch for me in the last few years, and that's one of them. I know that I don't think you or your team worked on them, but the two Fable movies from Japan as well, I thought also had a quite similar energy of mixing a little bit of action with a lot of comedy.
Uh-huh.
The kind of another, I think another anime adaptation, the kind of Fable and the Hitman Who Doesn't Kill. I can't remember the Japanese title. Do you know the film that I mean?
Immortal.
No, no, Fable.
Oh, Fable. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's very uh special cult action movie. I think
Yeah.
it looks good.
Yeah, and the comedy, I
Yeah,
think, but there I see them both as being more comedy than action films. They've got some great
yeah,
action in them,
and
but
it's very Japanese way offbeat comedy.
yeah, yeah, but great fun,
Yeah,
really good. And
yeah.
I thought I got some of the same feeling from Enter the Fat Dragon. I think, but
Oh,
Enter the
thank
Fat
you.
Dragon much more Hong Kong energy to it, and so it does have more of that kind of winners and sinners, my lucky stars feel
Yeah,
to it,
winners
as
and
you say.
serious. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
but very
Because
very
that's
well done.
my original place.
That was great. Really really
Yeah,
enjoyed it, and I think
I was just fanboy to be the filmmaker. Yeah,
I hope you do it again. I hope that you get a chance to. Because I know
I,
you're very busy all the time, but I hope
I
you'll maybe good.
yeah, maybe I will do next year.
I
Right?
hope so. I'll keep my fingers
Hope
crossed.
you
It'd be
like
good
it.
to see.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. I think I will. And we're jumping around a little bit, but before I forget too much, let us go back a little bit to Dragon,
Yes.
to Wuxia, which I know that was before Rurouni Kenshin, but another one of the projects you were involved in that I absolutely adore and still one of my favorite Donnie Yen films. I think it's the best kind of last swan song for Shaw Brothers style filmmaking, really. On it's not a Shaw Brothers film, but I felt that you managed to channel the energy of that, but elevate it a lot. In it's it's an interesting film in that it, and I heard you compare it to Rashomon sometimes, where a different interpretation of the same action scene depending on the point of view or which character we're seeing it through.
Yeah.
Very
I love that
complicated,
scene.
so
Yeah.
complicated to do. And I was going to ask how you went about doing that. Did you film both versions same time? And
Yes. Because on that script already very fascination, like Rashomon, like
mm,
different angle and
mhm,
one. one thing, different angle and different way of the point of view. But that happened. That kind of things happen on the action scenes. Very wow, like wow. That's really what I do. And when we choreograph, of course, we think about the A version and B version, right?
Mm.
So we had a lot of trial and error. So yeah, we test a lot of things. Yeah. So yeah, we sometimes we made A version, B version, C version, something different. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
works very, very well.
yeah, I love that the first half
Yeah.
of the like uh something like suspicious and something like Shomo. It's
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
then second half is almost 100% Show Brothers Show Brothers feeling. Yeah,
Yeah.
one armed boxer versus
Mm-hmm.
one armed boxer. Actually, Jimmy Wong, not originally, it's not supposed to him, but as a result, he has a he was a great
He was
performance. And
amazing. I think
yeah,
his
he's a nice
last, he did make a few other movies after that, but I think really that's his last really, really, really great performance.
yeah,
And I think Caraway's last really great action
yeah,
performance.
and he was
She's
very
still
nice.
acting. She's amazing. I think
Yeah,
I'm such a huge fan of Lau Kar Lung. So for me, really, it was a treat on so many different levels, that film, and a big Wang Yu film fan too. But
yeah.
I think particularly for Caraway, it was really great seeing her getting a
And do
chance to
you
shine
know
again.
Jimmy Wong? His Japanese is very good.
Ah, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, because uh, because
But he
I
made a
wrote.
Zatoichi movie before at one point.
Yeah, and yeah, he told us a lot of good memory of the Show Brothers era, or with Zatoichi, a lot of memory. And one day, because I brought some Japanese, some boys, and then we talk Japanese, yeah, and then he started to talk Japanese with us, and then I'm afraid, eh? Maybe I say something wrong in Japanese, and he knows what do we say. Oh, luckily we didn't say to him, and he doesn't know. So I'm lucky. But yeah, he was very nice, and yeah, his showmanship and he made everybody on the set uh, happy. Yes.
That must have been an incredible set to be on, because I think between yourself, between Donnie, and between Jimmy Wang Yu, all fiercely innovative filmmakers. And I think Donnie Yen gets a lot of credit as a performer, as an actor. Don't really feel he
Yeah.
gets enough credit as a filmmaker. And same with Wang Yu. Wang Yu, for those that like martial arts movies, people
And
always think of him as his performance as an actor, but an incredible director in his own right when he did
very,
so innovative.
yeah, great director with entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so much of, I think, of what other people went on to use. I think I always think back to the Chinese boxer, and the Chinese boxer did so much that nobody else had really done. Between that and One Armed Swordsman, he
That's a
really
cult
changed the
film.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good film. But I think without the Chinese boxer, no martial arts based video games. It wouldn't. He could have really introduced that whole thing of different fighters from different places. So yeah, no Chinese boxer, no Street Fighter, no Tekken, none of these things
Yeah,
would
yeah,
ever.
yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was very lucky to work with him. Yeah. That's very
yeah.
good experience.
I love
Yeah.
that movie. I wish I really. In fact, actually, while we're speaking, we can honor the man finally, and I've got a little picture
And
of him that I can bring
and
up, because that's them there.
wow. Yeah.
You can see him because
That
he
other
was so cool.
the left side is other our colleague is just he also fight choreographer Yang Fa.
Yeah, yeah, he was your
Do
partner
you
on the
remember
project.
his special ID
Uh-huh.
he speak loud. He's always on purpose, especially speak loud. So in China, everybody knows his name is Dai Sengfa. Dai Sengfa is uh,
Like
loud,
noisy guy, like
yeah,
loud
noisy
guy.
guy. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, Colorway, Wei
Yeah,
Yinhong.
yeah.
Yeah, she was so nice. Yeah.
And
And
you got to work with her again recently. She was in Sakra.
yes. Yeah. And she she was amazing. Anyway, old generation actor and actors in from old generation from Chobel's era,
Mm,
everybody great performer.
yeah,
And yeah, last year, um, actually, actually, when Donnie told her to join his film, he said, "Oh, no action." And then on the set, of course, we had the action scenes, and she said, "No, you guys said no action." Oh, okay. Anyway, okay, I do that, and then wow, her memory is good, blah, 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 and then very easy to remember, and even front row, she did by herself.
yeah.
Yeah,
She's incredible.
I was well, because I supposed to not herself, but he did the front row, and I, wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
And at that age, I think I struggle, and I'm not. I'm almost 50, and I feel like I'm 80 physically. I think I'm not as stretchy and not as flexible as I once was. But it's incredible seeing really an awful lot of the people that came through that Shaw's grounding and that Shaw's training. So hard, I think, for them in the
yeah,
70s and the 80s. So their
yeah,
bodies have lasted. They kind of they hold up. It's incredible.
yeah. Because even my master, Kurata-san, he's age 77 in this year, but his physical condition is very good, and
Yeah.
he said, wow, 70s. Yeah, 70s, just two guys fight every day on the place with nothing. Yeah, so no wire and just fighting and no stunt double. So that's a very good training. That's what he said.
Yeah. He still looks absolutely incredible. I follow his. He's got a wonderful Instagram, which
Oh
I
yeah,
think I would encourage everyone to, as well as you. So do you. But I think Karate-san, a lot of Karate-san's dogs recently in most recent years, because
yeah.
his pet. But he has a great Instagram, and I think it's in incredible shape. He's a testament, or as is Caraway, to how much martial arts promotes longevity. So it kind of keeps people feeling and looking a lot younger, a lot longer. That's an incredible thing,
Yeah,
really. And do you still
yeah.
train yourself as well? Because you don't. You look like you're 10 years younger than I am, and I think you're a couple of years older than me. Yes, you do.
I
I've
know that. I know me. I know what is like this. Yeah, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Young at heart.
mhm.
Yeah.
But do you still train in terms of, do you still kind of
Yes,
try and keep
yes,
yourself fit? Yeah.
yes, but not the crazy training, just for
Mm,
the kickboxing or some
mhm,
running, these kind of things.
mm,
And the best training on the set,
mm,
just running on the set, and speak louder and just choreograph and sometimes show some stunt. That's a very good training.
good, good. I think we're almost we're that's just past the hour mark, so I need to remember my manners and ask, because I know that it's quite late with you. Are you okay to keep on going for a little bit longer?
Of
And
course,
we'll
yeah.
amazing thing. Do you want to get a drink? Do you want to get a little break?
No, it's
Cool.
okay. Good.
Okay. I've still got my drink here, so I think we need to kind of bring things a little bit more up to date. But I wanted to ask you a bit about Hidden Man, because I've
Oh, you
never
hear
heard
me?
you speak about Hidden Man at all, and you won
Oh,
an award
because
at the Golden Horse Awards.
luckily I get some hours from Hidden Man, and I get
Yeah.
some hours from Raging Fire. But I think a little bit embarrassed because I'm not wholly joined that movie. Just the last minute,
Okay.
people go, oh yeah, Kenji coming, help me 1 month, or Raging Fire. Hey, ending scene. We need end this ending scene. We need you coming back to Hong Kong to help us. So I just like helper. It's a my feeling is okay. Oh, help people, help
Mm,
Donnie, or help John Wayne, that's the director. Yeah.
mm,
So um I can talk about Rurouni Kenshin because I'm I'm joined start. Yeah, I start from start to the end. From the meeting and location scouting to the dubbing, final mix. I
Mhm.
joined so I can say everything. But Hidden Man is we have two other stunt coordinator. So I just pretend to be, oh, I'm the stunt coordinator. It's not my style, I think. Yeah. But
Which,
yeah, if you ask something, I can of course I can answer because nobody asked me these kind of things.
yeah, well, that's what I thought, because I knew that the timing of it, because I know that at that point, there was a few other projects going on. I think Big Brother, same sort of time too, with
Oh yes,
Donnie.
actually, I'm just I did yeah, I was doing the prep for the Big Brother, and
Okay.
one day Donnie called me, hey, uh, can you go to the go to Beijing for help my friend, his friend, Jiang Wen,
Hmm.
because he has no stunt coordinator, choreographer on the set. Yeah, my colleague Yang Fa, he helped for a while on the set, but he himself also went to his set. Uh, is it uh, Wandering House,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chinese
Yeah. Wu Jing.
SF movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did Wandering Ass at that time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he must leave the set and no choreographer. Yeah, and then John Wang asked Donnie again, and Donnie said, "Oh, it's okay. Yeah, we have Kenji. Yeah, I, I I asked him to go to help you, and then I said, oh, because I need to prep your movie, Big Brother. Oh, don't care. Just 10 days, 10 days. Yeah, of course not 10 days. I'm feeling okay. Yeah, 10 days. Yeah, and then I went there, and Jiang Wen treated us very good, and yeah, it's very uh, happy on the set, and of course
But
not only 10 days, just 1 month, and then and then Donnie asked me, "Hey, why you stay in
so long.
Beijing such a long time?" No, that's what he said. Hey, you must coming back to Hong Kong. Everybody waiting for you. And no, don't ask me, Donnie. Don't ask me. Ask ask Jiang Wen, director. And then I told Jiang Wen, and Jiang Wen called Donnie. Hey, Donnie, we are shooting, and yeah, we need him. And Donnie said, yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, you keep Kenji. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, two big boss speak well, and then I stay for months. And as soon as we finish that movie, Hidden Man, and we fly to Hong Kong to
For
prep
Start
the
Big Brother.
Big
So,
Brother.
which sequences did you end up working on in Hidden Man? Because it's a curious mix of a film. That it's a strange
Yeah,
project.
yeah. The main part is of course the ending,
Yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
last 2 week is almost ending. But first 2 week is uh, part of that scene and part of that scene and the
Mm.
reshoot of that scene. So almost I just remember we shot um, 5 or 6 different scenes, and
Okay.
but the part of the scene, for example, Japanese actor and Eddie Pan is some two, so three movement. Uh, uh, you know, yeah, yes, they fight each other. That's the first day we shot that shot, and other day, I'm not remember that much, but yeah, five or 6 different scenes, and then we shot the ending scene.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an interesting mix of a film and a bit more guns than we normally see you getting a chance to work with. There's kind of quite a bit of gunplay in that movie,
yeah, that's I
which works
want.
quite well,
Yeah,
and a
but
lot of
gunplay is
rooftops.
very difficult. You know
Yeah.
what? Because that distance works, and it's very hard to let the audience believable. For example, bare knuckle, fist fight. Okay, boom, we can express really hit because we can hit really more or less.
Hmm.
And okay, sword fight. However, the distance is not that close, but of course, like Rurouni Kenshin, we can really hit. And somehow audience, maybe audience, if if logically they know, oh, not this guy not killed, right? They are not using a real sword, but
Hmm.
somehow some moment of the action, a sword action, maybe they are thinking, wow, looks like they killed. But the gunfight, logically, nobody believed that guy used a real gun and really this guy really died. So it's very hard to watch, and then how to express, and then most of the time uh, we use a gun pong and then cut back to other side. It's very hard to two guys on the one frame.
Yeah.
If the fight, if the body fight is two guys one frame, the ball, bam, 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 like we can use this kind of thing. But the gunfight, that the distances is very hard. So John Wick is very smart
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, very close combat with gun. That's
Yeah.
very smart. I think
Yeah.
very incredible idea.
Well, I think in John Wick they seem to almost use a lot of the time his gun is like a full stop at the end of either a judo throw or some jujitsu and
Yeah,
or a kind of certain type of movement, and then it's almost for the audiences when the audience watching that little mini sequence full stop is the bang, however he's finishing off that person, and
yeah, and
then they
nice
kind of stack them
transition.
together.
Gun
Yeah.
to the judo throw to the gun again, and the gun to the nunchaku, and nunchaku to the nunchaku to the other technique. Their transition is very, yeah, great choreography.
But
Yeah,
I thought Hidden Man for because sometimes visual effects or sometimes computer effects in Chinese movies can be difficult sometimes. Maybe the
yeah,
politest way to say. But I thought Hidden Man actually did a good job with very
really
sparing use of CG. Yeah, in some places, particularly for
interesting.
you see the kind of the blood effects really more. It was the main thing they were adding on, and that worked really well. Particularly there's an execution scene beside the river with some of the Koreans with yellow bags on their heads,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
that worked really well. I think it was kind of like
yeah.
yeah, it was good.
So
I
I
think some nice touches in it.
Yeah, and and Jiang Wen and me has a very good relationship. Say, yeah, he trusts us, and then sometimes, yeah, I took the daily footage from the like sound device,
Hmm.
like monitor. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I took the footage, and then I edit by myself, and I showed the director, and director said, "Oh, that's good." Yeah, and then we have a very good relationship. That's yeah, also good memory.
Yeah, good film, and I would encourage anyone watching. It's one that's a little bit harder to find over here, but it does have a. I'm a big fan of physical media, Blu-rays and DVDs,
Yeah,
and it does have a
your
release.
lovely days. Yeah.
So I think it's worth trying to track down. I think if people can find it, it's a good movie, and I think we'll bring it a little bit more up to date, and we'll go to you mentioned Raging Fire, so we should jump into
Yes.
Raging Fire. And I know that you, like you said, not involved across the whole movie. You just came in and helped with a couple of sequences, but the two sequences you helped with, my two favorite sequences in the movie, and I didn't know that that was the case when I watched the film first. I loved the whole movie, but the two sequences that had stood out the most for me was the last church fight and and Ken Lo in the office
Yeah.
going out,
I
and
just
they're your scenes. I
yeah,
think
I just need that to sequence.
they're
Yeah.
great. I mean, I love the whole movie really, but I think those two sequences, especially the Shantytown sequence, is also very very good. But I think for the I loved Nicholas C in the movie. I'm a huge Donnie fan and have been for years. But the big revelation for that movie was seeing Nicholas C back
Yeah.
again and doing action, and so I really particularly enjoyed those two sequences. And
Thank you.
will
Thank you.
can you speak a little bit about because the office scene so short? Didn't I hear you say
Yeah.
that almost done in a day?
Yeah. That's
That's crazy.
Benny told me that 9 hours and nine
Oh,
hours. I think I cannot finish. And then maybe first day 7 hours, and he arranged for us another day. Another day, we shot 2 or 3 hours, and then we can finish.
hmm.
Yeah,
It's
because
very cool.
we shot previous.
Yeah,
If you have the chance to see our previous, it's almost same.
yeah,
Actually, I don't agree. We followed 100% with previous. I'm not that kind of style. We prepare a previous for let myself have some confidence. Oh, this shot, this thing. If we have this as this element would be good. Just for myself, previous, just for myself, and just for prepare for other department. And I don't I will not follow 100%. But in that scene, somehow, as a result, final product is almost same with previous.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's really cool. It's
yeah.
a very succinct because quite a short sequence, but yeah, incredible. And
Thank you,
I
thank you,
think
thank you.
one of my friends also great seeing Ken Lo again and still seeing him back in movies. I think he's kind of a
Yeah,
wonderful to see him in front of the camera.
yeah. I was so
And
happy to work with him and work with Nicholas, and of course work with Benny Chan. Yeah, that's
yeah, the late great Benny Chan.
yeah. I get a lot of good experience from him, and I
And
learned.
he was
Yeah,
an incredible director. But I was remembering that that must have been a reunion of sorts for you with Nicholas C because you were in as an actor you were in Time and Tide long time ago with him too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're both
But
much younger
yeah,
men at that point, but
yeah. But yeah. I worked with him again after 20 almost 20 years. But
yeah.
yeah, not the he's not the same. He's he's you know already great actor with a lot of hours, and
Mhm,
then yeah, of course he's very successful businessman, and then
mhm.
uh
And incredible,
very
apparently incredible
with
chef.
yeah, with great chef. He has a lot of credit, and
Mm,
then now everybody knows he's a good actor and
mm,
with good action. Yeah, and I think yeah, some credit for Donnie, because Donnie just try to look Nicholas looks good. Yeah,
mm,
so because the ending is our slogan is back to basic,
mm,
because before that church scene, a lot of gunfight, a lot of car shot, a car stunt, and a lot of explosion. So we don't want to go to the make some inflation of the action, because just bigger and explosion twice, explosion three times. That doesn't mean anything.
yeah,
So we uh, chose some quiet scene, quiet, quiet place like church. That's Donnie's idea. That's great idea. Church with old church without uh, without repair over 20 years, and then
mm,
that kind of thing is atmosphere is good, and then just two guys fight. That's that's very good atmosphere. So
yeah,
and two guys fight. Many people just remember he and Wujin fight in SPL, right? So of course we wanna do this kind of element, but no, Nicholas is not Wujin, not the professional martial artist. So we try to make the element is very tense with with a lot of tense, and then uh, yeah, I think not not comparable with SPL is another special thing. I think
Yeah,
with,
I think it
with
has
yeah
its own sort of different flavor, and I think it maybe slightly more so than in SPL scene, because in SPL Wu Jing's character quite fleeting, but in Raging Fire it really is sort of Donnie's character and Nicholas's character's kind of arc throughout that film.
yeah
So it's a very satisfying ending, really, because I think that whole movie is as much about the character as it is about the action. It was a
yeah
huge thing for us here because that was a very rare chance to see a Hong Kong movie actually on the big screen at the cinema here, because that's so rare. I think the last one before that was probably, I don't even know. I think it's been probably 20 years since we got a Hong Kong movie.
wow
A long time, right? And in Cantonese, not dubbed. So we were actually able to kind of go and see it properly in Cantonese with subtitles. It was a treat. Absolutely loved it. It was great. Absolutely great. And I think around the same sort of time, I know partly why you couldn't have been on all of Raging Fire, because you were doing Snake Eyes at the same
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, because yeah, at that time, okay, number one, why I couldn't join the pre-production of the Raging Fire, because I was shooting Rurouni Kenshin, the
Oh, the
final
last, yeah,
and
yeah. Mhm.
the beginning,
Yeah.
and then as soon as we finish the Rurouni Kenshin, I flew to Hong Kong to join Raging Fire, and Raging Fire shot until the 2nd of August 2019, and then yeah, second of August, and 3rd of August I back to Tokyo, and 6th of August I flew to Vancouver to prepare the Snake Eyes. So yeah, 2019 has happened many things, but I was very lucky. I can shoot I could shoot movie in Japan and then Hong Kong and
And then in
Vancouver
Canada.
and
Yeah.
back to Japan. So yeah, that year is very mm, rich experience for me. Yeah, and then I can work with a lot of great filmmaker from other country. Yeah, so yeah, I also yeah I learned a lot
And you
from
had the am I right in saying you had the chance to work with your cinematographer from Rurouni Kenshin came with you on the second unit for Snake Eyes, didn't he? Or was
oh
that
yeah, yeah, in Japan
yeah,
unit. Yeah,
because Snake Eyes looks amazing, and I know that some people have remarked about the fact that I think the editor. I'm going to be very polite, but I think the editor slightly let you down a little bit.
I
These
don't
things
know.
are. It's what we were saying earlier on about Rurouni Kenshin. Very much a good synergy between the different departments. An American production, slightly different story. I enjoy Snake Eyes a lot, but I
Thank
think
you.
I've seen your previews and I've seen how they ended up cutting the final sequences together, and I think I would be interested to see a Kenji cut if if it could ever be possible at some point. But I still do really enjoy the film, and I think there's a lot of techniques that I can see that
Yeah,
you've kind of cracked how to do on Kenshin that you've brought with you. So particularly one person engaging many is
yeah,
very hard to do without it looking too much in American movies. When you see one person going up against a group, you're very conscious of a lot of the stuntmen at the back just waiting for their turn, and that's yeah, we all have kind of seen that, and I think it's one of the things that Kenshin always avoided, and Snake Eyes always avoided too. Everyone felt very engaged in a group,
yeah. But
and I know that kind of Kenshin.
I don't know because of course Ron Kenshin and Snake Eyes are different story
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah different genre I think so. If you only watch my previous for Snake Eyes, well it's like Ron Kenshin, but will it be matchable suitable with Snake Eyes? I don't know because Snake Eyes because um many American people let enjoy the Snake Eyes from their uh, childhood.
Mhm.
I'm not. So if you ask me, you really understand the fascination with Snake Eyes? I cannot say yes. So I just try my best, and I just follow Robert, director Robert, his guidance, and actually he's a one with the Japanese cinema freak, and his knowledge for Japanese is more than me, and he taught me many things about the Japanese film. Oh yeah, I just said, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, really. I just said this, and then yeah, I think yeah, I try my best, and yeah, and I met a lot of wonderful people like Kimani, our stunt coordinator over the Canada. He introduced a lot of great Canadian stuntmen, and yeah, I think Canada and Japan had a different system.
Mm.
So I try to adjust that system, but I think it's not good and bad. I just know the difference. That's good. That's enough. Oh, Canadian system is like this. Oh, Hong Kong system is like this. Or Chinese system is like this, and Japanese. At least I know the difference, and I know how to deal with deal is not a good word, but how to work with uh, the people over there.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good experience. Yeah.
And I think it was very cool, and I think it's kind of it's always good seeing Iko Uas from the raid
Oh
in
yeah,
more
yeah,
projects because
yeah.
he's always so watchable.
Because Eco, I asked him, hey, how many days is shot in the ending scene of the Raid 2? And he said, oh, 10 days. Yeah, 10 days. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. But I feel very bad. His scene of the ending. Actually, now you watch Snake Eyes, he looks like he did nothing on the ending scene. But
Mm.
actually, he had a lot of movement on his solo fight.
Yeah.
But we just have the 6 hours for him. 6 hours. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Raid 2 is a 10 shooting days. 6 hours. We shot 2 separate days. First
Mm.
first day, okay, on the night time, 3 days. And then we must stop. And the other day, another three another 3 hours. And then in Japan at that time is February is freezing, and Eco is not used to that kind of
That
freeze.
sort of weather,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's I think he has hard time. And I said, "Oh, I feel very bad. You just have 6 hours, yeah, to shoot that scene. I feel very bad, but that's a way. That's a different production, different way. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. It's always a difficult thing. I think America sometimes has a tendency to not always pick up on the elements that I think that they like the idea of working with Hong Kong with Japanese cinema, but maybe they can't fully embrace it. And I know there's a lot of different politics in American movies, and audiences are very different. And I say all of this coming from a country with no film industry of its own anymore. Really, I mean, Britain hasn't made movies itself for a long time. Movies are still
really.
made.
But
Movies are still made in
English stuntman is very, very good.
yes, but they're just all work for the American film industry. We think
Oh,
we're a great satellite for American film production. So the James Bond movies or Harry Potter or the Marvel or whatever movies they sometimes do shoot in England, but
yeah.
they're not really British
Even
movies.
me, Mortal Kombat shot in London,
Hmm.
lives in studio, but it's a Harry film.
Yeah, yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that the last one that I can think of that's a sort of true, I would define as a true British film would be Scott Adkins' film Avengement. I don't know if you've seen, which
Wow.
is a great little film, but very low budget. And I think Scott is one of the last ones that we have who's still really trying to get projects off the ground and make basically British action movies. And that's all south of the border. In Scotland, nothing, Kenji, nothing. We're not making anything here, which is a real shame. I think it's difficult.
Hey, call me to go to Scotland. Yeah,
You should cut. Have you ever been? Have you ever been to Scotland before?
yeah. Like one movie, Kenshin went to Scotland. Kenshin fight with Highlander.
I think there's one line, one character I'm sure in The Hidden Man speaks about somebody has retreated to their island in Scotland, and I was like, oh, my ears pricked up anytime that I hear Scotland being mentioned. I get very proud. But have you ever visited? Have you ever been to Scotland before, just as a tourist? Just
Scotland, I've never been. I actually, I really wanna go your place. Yeah.
you should. You should absolutely come over. I think it's an interesting place to visit, but might be a
Wow.
difficult place to make movies in.
Yeah, even in England. Wow, that's a 1996. That's
Mm,
the last time. Mortal Kombat, London and Wales. And I really wanna go to Scotland. Yeah, because some people, some friend from Hong Kong, living in Scotland at that time.
mm.
But no time.
Yeah, well, you're
Yeah.
busy, and busy is good. There's that saying that you make hay when the sun shines, and I think it's good to be busy. It's good to have work. Work kind of keeps us
But
occupied. Mind
one
goes.
day, see you in Scotland.
I hope so. I will
Yeah,
take you
really.
for. I will happily take you for dinner if you come across, and kind of show you some nice places to eat. So I will. I will let you
What
go
kind of
quite.
food? What kind of
Well,
food in Scotland?
where weirdly there's not really very much traditional Scottish food here.
Like
Really.
because like London, like England, fish and
Mm.
chips, black pudding, this kind of thing is very.
A little bit of
I
that.
love these things. Yeah.
Scotland famous for deep frying everything. So it sort of traditional
Oh,
Scotland will
everything
be
fried.
yeah, even like
Ah,
Mars bar or Milky Way bar. Those
yeah,
will be deep fried over here too, and I think very
like
bad.
churros.
Yeah, yeah, deep fry the
Ah,
chocolate bar, deep
but like
fried
tempura,
slices of
Japanese
pizza.
tempura.
Almost, but tempura a
Ah,
little bit nicer, I think. So
uh,
I think over here we're becoming very good for where I am. I'm in Edinburgh, which is the kind of capital of Scotland, and very multicultural. So
ah,
Scotland's very good for food from other places. So good Japanese food here,
oh, really?
very good Thai food, very good Vietnamese food. We're pretty good for Italian, for French food. So if you go
Wow.
to a very fancy Scottish restaurant, it will be fusion. It'll be Scottish with something else. So
Oh,
usually Scottish French, and
wow,
that'll be the
interesting.
most expensive restaurants. But traditional stuff would just be fish and chips, really, and yeah, and that's not
Fish and
cheap and
chips
special.
good.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
we stay
great.
right beside the sea, so I think it's very fresh. But
Wow.
different fish to sort of Japanese fish. The water so much warmer across there, so the fish so much softer. So over here, kind of fish a little bit different, but it's good.
Interesting.
Mm.
Wow. Okay.
But we shall. Before I let you go, I'm going to very quickly just ask you a couple of quick questions about Sakra
Yep.
because I also adored, and I noticed we spoke earlier on about the horizontal run, and I saw it
Yeah.
in a couple of places. It was nice kind of seeing it coming back and slightly refined because Donnie did his own spin on it, but it was good seeing some of those same techniques again at play in Sakra.
Yeah.
And some really nice that I need to watch. I've only seen the film once so far, and I need to watch it again because particularly the first opening fight, the kind of more sort of playful scene when he's trying not to kill people and kind of going up against the old monk. Some incredible stuff going on there, particularly with how he's moving. There's a kind of a bounce against or bounce off of a pillar, getting kind of turning back, which I will try and put the
Yeah.
clip over as I'm speaking, which I hadn't seen that sort of technique used before. I hadn't seen um, either you or Donnie using that before. It seemed that you were always trying to find new tricks and still not slowing down. There was a lot going on in
Because
that
he
film.
pushed me. Yeah. And every time our collaboration is, I prepare something, and
Mm,
then Tony, not deny, but yeah, that's good. He said that's good, but on the moment of shooting that scene, that shot, he changed his way. But every time his changes, good change, good
mm,
change in his way, because yeah, for example, my one of my choreography is like Rurouni Kenshin, but that kind of choreography played by Donnie is not, somehow is not not crossover. So he changed his style. That that's very special, and because of his actor and good actor, so he knows. what he delivers, and he knows what is the valuable for him. Yeah, so that's very smart.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I hope that you're able to keep the series going, because I think I've heard him speak a couple of times that he was very hopeful that this would be the first part of a series, and I hope that ends up being the case. I hope he's able to kind of return to this world too at some point, because the story, obviously, like, without, I don't want to spoil for people who haven't seen it yet, but there's more of that story to see, and I
I
hope we
don't
get to
know.
see it.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's
Yeah,
always hard to say. I think with these sorts of projects, it's very difficult. I think
yeah,
getting any project off the ground and made is, I think, much harder than a lot of people realize. It's very difficult. The amount of things that have to come together to get any film made at all is, it's crazy. It's a mountain to be climbed. So I do hope, that we'll see a Sakra 2, or however that chapter would be called. But yeah, I thought
but
it was really wonderful.
very long story.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
that
huge, a
original
very big
novel
book.
is very long. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's like maybe first 3 chapters of a 12 chapter book. I think it's a
yeah,
small
yeah,
part.
yeah,
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 and a very big, very wide cast. I think, yeah, I think that there's a good history, though. Um, there's a good tradition in more in Hong Kong cinema, really, than in mainland Chinese cinema for wuxia series. I think Shaw
yes,
Brothers certainly did quite a few. I think, can't quite see, but over in the corner there's probably The Brave Archer, which is, it was quite a long running series in Shaw Brothers for a while. I think they did 4 of those movies, and I think the Chinese audiences are quite familiar with it. Though sometimes
yeah,
I wondered, maybe TV series are sometimes a bit easier to get made, because they have a TV series will have the length to be able
yeah.
to get the whole
Have a
story told.
range, and they can dig more each character.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
then that has its compromises too. Never quite as elaborate budgets, and the sets can't be as big, and
yeah.
the set pieces can't be as good. So I think the balance was very good in Sakra. And
Good things
again,
and best things. And
yeah,
for me, it's the first time to challenge the Usha film. So that's very good challenge. Yeah, it's the first time for me to Usha
mm,
uh to shoot Usha movie. It's like that Usha that the movie Usha is first challenge for uh me to understand what is a kung fu movie, what is a kung
hmm
fu movie. And this time I have the chance to understand what is a Usha movie. So now I start to understand what is Usha movie, and then how we go this path to express the uh, wuxia, this genre. Yeah,
yeah. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that evolves. And
yeah. But
can you?
personally, I love the modern action movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's. I think we're in this wonderful place where I think there's the world is big enough for so many different flavors of action movies.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we
yeah.
can have modern action, and I also kind of like seeing occasional period movies when they're done well. And I think, we spoke about Zatoichi, and I know that there's another Blind Swordsman movie coming quite soon from China. Eye for an Eye, I think, is the Western title,
Oh,
which
that
looks interesting too.
Che Miao,
I think so, yeah.
that actor from the Jet Li movie is he's a he was a child actor.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
yeah.
From
Which I haven't had a chance to see yet.
the child actor from the God Gamma too.
Ah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a good actor too, and yeah, one of my friend.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing. I've so far only seen the trailer, and
Mm.
for speaking of trailers, and to bring us right up to date, I'm hoping that I get a chance to see Kowloon Walled City quite soon, hopefully.
Oh, I think maybe next year, and we are still uh almost locked the cut, and still doing the music and post production. But I hope you like it.
I think the chances are
Yeah.
very high, Kenji. I think it's rare for me to kind of see something that you've worked on and not enjoy it. That's kind of one of the reasons why I really was looking forward to getting a chance to speak to you, because I think it's kind of wonderful to kind of get a chance to let you know that I think you're doing a very good job, really, in my own small way. It's kind of wonderful to see. So, do you know what you're going to be working on next? Can you say?
Oh, next film is also working with the director Soy Chan, the
Okay.
director of the Kowloon City,
Mm-hmm.
Kowloon World Inn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this director, and we are
And
working in China,
okay.
shooting one big China movie.
And separate story, separate project, not connected.
Separate is a Chinese history,
Hmm. Okay,
of course.
interesting.
Big action scene,
Yeah.
different
Now
kind of big action. Yeah,
that's what keeps it interesting, Kenji. I think variety, for you and for the audience too. I think that's the
yeah,
things that kind
because for me it's very new. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to start shooting next movie.
of okay.
Maybe in
Yeah.
this summer.
Okay. I hope
Yeah.
you get a little bit of time to catch breath first, and
Okay.
aren't working too hard, because I think there always has to be that balance. But I'm conscious of the fact that it must be almost midnight there, and I should let you start to wind down and enjoy a little bit of your own evening. And thank you so much for giving me as much of your
Thank
time
you.
as you did. At some point, there's a bunch of other things that I didn't get around to speak to you about, but it's all more not connected to your work, and more just your opinion on other people's work. And I think that's less interesting for people who are watching, more interesting for me to know what you think of Korean cinema and things. But I'll maybe save that for if we can have a chat again, maybe after Kowloon Walled City comes out. Maybe we could get together again, and any other time that you want to.
Anytime, because I'm coming from the Hong Kong movie freak like you, so we are
Hmm.
on the same page. And I now, yeah, fanboys change to be the filmmaker, but I still love to watch Hong Kong movie, of course, Chinese movie and other action movie. So yeah, I think we are same kind of you know people.
Yes, I think so. I think we probably grew up watching a lot of the same things. And are you back in Tokyo for a while now, or will you be going back to Hong Kong again?
I think so. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Next month I must go to Hong Kong for a while again.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I will be in Hong Kong in August, I think.
August.
Uh, yeah,
I think we're we will be start pre-production for that next movie in
and
China
in mainland. Okay. Well,
or
I think
mainland.
we'll be. I think we'll be in mostly south, a little bit in mainland, close to Guangzhou, and a little bit of time in Hong Kong. But I said I would try and see Mike, so I will. If you
Oh yeah,
do
yeah,
happen
yeah,
to
yeah.
be, if you do
Yeah,
happen to be in Hong Kong at the same time, then
yeah.
hopefully I will
Maybe
get a chance
yeah. See you there.
to see you and have some lunch. But if not, then I will look forward to the next time that we get a chance to speak. And absolutely any time that you want to come back onto my little channel, my door is always
Okay.
open. But
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for your time again tonight.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank you, Kenji.
I
Enjoy the
enjoy that.
rest of your.
Thank you.
I hope so. I had a lot
Okay.
of fun.
Okay. See you soon.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.